In this video, we'll actually create a REST controller for our Spring Boot application. So here, we'll actually create a very simple REST controller because in the previous video, we had Spring Boot up and running, but we had that ugly error page because we didn't have any coding in place. So what we'll do here is we'll actually create a very simple REST controller that'll say, hello world. Creating a REST controller is really easy. So if we wanted to create a REST controller, we simply say @REST_controller and call it fun REST controller. And then here we're going to expose the / that'll simply return hello world. So I'll simply set up a get mapping. I'll have this method called say hello that returns a string, and the string that it returns is hello world. But that's it. This is really just a very basic hello world controller, and this will actually run in our Spring Boot application. All right, so let's start writing this code. Okay, so here's that ugly error page that I mentioned a little bit earlier. And I said, hey, don't worry. We haven't added any real code and we'll do that in later videos. Well, this is the actual later video. And so this is where we'll actually add some real code. We'll add our own REST controller for that hello world example. Now let's go ahead and swing back into our IDE. If our application is currently running, let's go ahead and stop it now. And what I want to do is actually create a new package. All right, so for this my cool app, I'll say new package. And the actual name that I'll give for the package, I'll call it REST. So mycoolapp.rest. Alrighty, so I have this new package here. So now I'm going to create a new class in this package. I'll call it fun REST controller. So here we have new class. And again, the name is fun REST controller. Okay, so here's our fun REST controller. There's nothing in it. So let me just write a quick comment here. So I'm going to expose a / endpoint that'll simply return hello world. All right, so that's my game plan. Those are my marching orders. So building REST controllers, we start with the annotation @REST_controller. Okay, so import that REST controller annotation. I'll set up a get mapping / and I'll just define a method here. Public string say hello. And I'll just return hello world. So that's basically it as far as the coding here for the @REST controller. Okay, so let's go ahead and run our application. Alrighty, let me just kind of take a look at my console real quick. All right, so everything is started, up and running. That's great. I'll swing over to my web browser. Booyah! This is awesome. Our REST controller is up and running. So we're getting our hello world response based on the code that we just created in that fun REST controller. Good job.